Good morning. It's wonderful to be here as always. Oh my goodness. The drive over here today was enough to make anyone sort of realize the connection we all have with the all that is. It was so magnificently beautiful. Putting it into words takes away from it. But you know how the clouds just hang in our mountains, and the colors that are just starting to come are behind it. It was just magical, absolutely magical. So thank you as always for inviting me back to speak with you. It's just such an honor and a privilege always to come. It's a lovely trip over from Waynesville, so I don't ever mind coming, ever. And the reason I chose this title is because I have a story to share with you this morning. And I'm going to be very, very, very honest with you, as I always am. I speak from my heart, and what you see, you get. And I had an experience recently that took me to my knees, literally. And you know, there's always those moments that come along when you need them most, to sort of shake you and help you to realize that, oh, there's something here for me to really understand about myself. Something on a deeper level that I've never quite gotten to before. So I'm a personal fitness trainer, 35 plus years in the industry. I started in my early 20s before getting certified was required. Well, about 28 years ago, it became more and more important to have credentials, you know. So I went through different organizations, finding the one that felt right for me, and I settled with the American Council on Exercise, and they are right up there with the College of Sports Medicine. Those two are sort of our gold standards in my industry. And they don't make certification easy, which is good. And it's very, very in-depth and thorough, which is also good. Every 2 years, we have to recertify by presenting continuing education credits that we've accumulated over the last couple of years. Well, I don't know about you, but time is like really odd for me. The last, I'm gonna say, 5 to 8 years. I don't know what's happening, if it's me aging, if there's something actually happening in our cosmos. I don't know, but I have no real sense of time anymore. None. I don't. I mean, people will say, well, when was the last time you did this? And I'll think, oh, that was, you know, a few months ago, and it was 3 years ago. My husband just asked me the other day when we went to visit our friend in Hawaii, and I said, oh, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. It was 7 years ago. So this is what I'm trying to share with you, because my certification snuck up on me. My recert, I should say. So about January of this year, I said, okay, that's all right. I've still got until the end of August, which is plenty of time for me to accrue these credits. So I went into their website and I found a course that I thought seemed really interesting to me, called Behavioral Change Specialist Coach. Okay, well, the description was fascinating, and I've always been a little bit intrigued by psychology. So anyway, I went ahead and purchased the course. And as soon as I started getting into it, I realized, uh-oh, I bit off maybe more than I could chew. It was very deep psychology, a lot of terminology I'd never heard before. It was very challenging for me. But I pursued, and I kept on going through one chapter after another, and at the end of each chapter, of course, you have to take an exam. And I was passing them more or less most of the time, first time out. They do give you a couple chances, thank goodness. But I got to the end of the course and had passed all the exams. Now I had to do a practicum. And this is done live over the internet with a master trainer in California. And on the screen, you may have done something like this before where you have a meeting and there's like 5 or 6 of you showing on the screen. Well, that's how this was. I, however, had to work that morning. So I had gone in and worked with a couple of clients at my gym, flew home at 10:30 in the morning, got myself on, and I was the last one to arrive, of course, because they asked us to get on 15 or 20 minutes early, but with my schedule, I didn't have that luxury. So I arrived kind of late. Well, everyone had already picked their partners, so I was given a partner on our Skype, for a lack of a better word. And the gentleman they paired me with, bless his heart, he must have been up in the middle of the night. He was calling in from somewhere in Israel or Iraq or over there. And there were 2 or 3 different people from Europe, and then I was on from North Carolina and somebody else. But to make a long story short, as I can, this gentleman had a very thick accent. And we had 10 minutes. We were allotted 10 minutes to figure out how we could assist this person in some type of navigation of their behavioral change that they were. Now, we were asked as the client, if we were chose to be a client, to choose something personal so that we were able to make it feel real. Well, he chose that he used to be a bodybuilder, but had given it up for many reasons, and he wanted to get back to it, but was unable to get to it. He just wasn't being successful with it any longer. Well, the first person who went was a therapist who made it look like a piece of cake. I'm serious. The master trainer on the call said nothing but her praises, and everyone else gets to comment as well, and they had nothing but praises for her. Then it was my turn. And it started out okay, just introducing ourselves and getting to know what he came to a coach, a behavioral change coach, for. But I have 35 years in the industry as a trainer, and gosh knows those habits die hard. And I am been trained to give advice. And this is all about open-ended questions. Never ask a yes or no question. Always get them to have the answer. It's within them. I know this all intellectually. But as I spoke with this young man, I understood less and less of what he was asking. And I knew I had 10 minutes. And I didn't want to say, excuse me, could I have a different partner, and get that all messed up. And so I just tried to persevere. And about 5 minutes into my 10 minutes, I just crashed and burned. In terms of what I was there to do as a behavioral change coach. I went into my personal training mode, threw that cap on, and took off. And I knew what I was doing as I was doing it, but I just couldn't stop myself because I was so nervous and I couldn't quite pick up what I should have pulled from the course to put in. Anyway, when it was all done, she tried, the master coach, to find some nice things to say, as did some of the participants, but there wasn't the enthusiasm there was with the first one, that's for sure. And I knew in my gut I had failed. I failed. I just did. So when it was all said and done, I literally slammed my computer, jumped in my car, and went back to work because I just had to get back to work. I'm driving back to work, beating myself bloody. Have we been there?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I thought I had that part of my negative chatter, much, 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 much more under control. But not that day. Oh my goodness. I just went up one side of myself and down the other in the 15 minutes it took me to get back to work. And I knew an email was going to be landing in my account any minute that said, you failed, you must reschedule your practicum, because that was the protocol. So about 4 o'clock I got a break, and I look, and you know, I'm going to tell you the answer up front. I looked at that email and saw I failed. I missed the if. The very first word in the sentence of the email was if. I was so convinced. This is how powerful our minds are. The point I want to make is I was so totally sure I had failed that I didn't read that email once but twice and missed the if both times. So I just jumped right on the phone to Ace and said, I got to get through. I left messages, no one was answering. I'm in total panic mode now. I have 30 days to recertify. And what am I going to do if I don't, right? Well, that's not even, don't we go there?
Yeah.
We go to the very worst thing
Yep.
and figure it's done.
Yep.
It's what's going to happen. It's just the way it is. So you can imagine how the rest of my afternoon, evening, they never did call me back. I left 3 more messages with 3 different people. No one called me back. The next morning, still nothing in my email, no calls. I go off to work. I get another break at 11 a.m. I call them back. I got a live person. And I just start spewing. My name is Kim May. You have to go into the computer right now. I have been on all night trying to trying to get my practicum rescheduled. They're all full. They're all full past the 30th of August, and I am going to be out my certification if I. And the guy goes, "Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me. Did you tell me your name was Kim May?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I'm looking at your account on my computer. All the boxes are checked. You passed." Literally, you could have knocked me over with a feather. I said, "I'm sure that can't be right, because I got an email."
Right.
And he said, no, I'm telling you, all the boxes are checked. I said, okay, well, as soon as I get off the phone with you, I'm going back to that email because I know what I received. And he said, I'm telling you what I have. And if you want to refuse it, I said, oh, no. I may be crazy, but I'm not insane. So, well, I've got you on the phone. Let me get my credit card. Let's do this deal. Recertified. All is well. Opened that email and just couldn't believe that I had literally missed that word if. Not once, but twice. And why? Because I had 200% expectation that I had failed. And nothing could persuade me differently until that young man on the phone had to tell me, not once, but twice. So it's a crazy thing that happens to us. We get so, expectation, by the way, in my experience, and I teach from where I come, that's all I know to do. Expectation is absolutely locked into our belief system. It is hooked in there very, very deep. So expectations can be a positive thing, of course. But for most of us, I think expectation can work against us. Because as humans, and because of the way we were raised by the people who raised us doing the best job they could do, they brought us up to believe the worst thing's going to happen, not the best. You know, in any situation, we have those 2 choices. It can turn out great or it can turn out awful. But because of my programming and my conditioning, I go to the awful way more than I thought. That's the other thing. I got this wake-up call. Standing there in my parking lot that morning when that young man said, you passed, I said, I cannot believe that I put myself through what I put myself through the last 24 hours. That is just appalling to me. I'm shocked. I thought I had come so much further. I thought I had so much better control over my critical mind. I just, oh my goodness, there I was, just owning it, and realizing that vibration is everything. And thank the good Lord above and all that is creating all that is. It wasn't paying any attention to my thought at that time. I had pre-paved enough vibrationally that source came in and made the best scenario turn out for me rather than the worst. And you say, well, that can't be. We are our own creators. We create our reality. Yes, we do, absolutely. No one can create in my reality but me. But I had pre-paved such a long time working on this course for 9 months, 8 months, knowing I'm going to pass this. I'm going to pass this. I know I got this. I can do this. I got this. This is going to be really helpful for a lot of my clients that have been with me for years and are stuck. This is going to be such a good thing, and I had done so much more of that than I had that I'm going to fail vibration, that the universe brought to me what I had most put my energy and vibration into. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. We're not always going to get exactly what we're saying in this red hot minute, because what we're thinking in this red hot minute, if it's already manifested in your now, it's old news. It's ancient history. Our inner beings, our God, Goddess, our source is on to what we're creating, because that's what puts eternality into eternity. It's focused on that, not what we may have had a temporary lapse in for a few hours. Okay? So where you put your primary focus, where you have the most energy, where you're dreaming the most, let's talk about that. When we were children, didn't we do it all the time? Our imaginations run wild with us. We played and imagined and had all these incredible visions of what could be. And then we got a little older, and our parents or those who thought best for us said, that's child's play, leave it behind, let it go, get into your maturity, start being real, face reality. No, I say no. Just because it's reality doesn't make it what I want. And if I face it, I'm focused on it. And if I'm focused on it, it's becoming my now out there. So it's so very, very, very important for me to recognize that if I want to create something really new and beautiful and pure love, that's where I have to focus 99.9% of the time. Yes, we're human, and yes, we have the full gamut of emotions and possibilities within us. Hitler's in here, Mother Teresa's in here. They're all in here. They're all in every one of us. It's who we choose to activate, who we choose to embrace, although I highly recommend embracing them all, because they're all incredibly valuable and have awesome gifts to give us. But the pieces of us that we want to make more predominant in our now, that's where we need to focus. And we're always two choices, no matter what it is. You're choosing love or you're choosing fear. That's it, in a nutshell. It can all be boiled down to that. So if you've got some decisions to make in your life, if you've got things that are going on, just ask yourself that one simple question. Put your hands on your heart. Get out of your head. Because that's an incredible biocomputer. This, truly, an amazing, miraculous design. But it's not control central. It was never meant to be. Your heart is control central. This is where you know and you know you know. Up here will give you 85 scenarios and want you to check them all out thoroughly before you make your decision. And 90% of those are the negative side of things, right? Rather than the positive side of things. So go into your heart and just ask yourself a simple question, one simple question. Is this putting me in fear or is this putting me in love? And you'll have your answer in a heartbeat, literally. You will have your answer. And then you can make choices that are based in love, not fear. And if you're coming across a lot of people these days who are really angry, it's going to get worse before it gets better. I'm not saying that as a downer. I just want you to be prepared. Because a lot of us are just beginning to wake up to the awareness that we are powerful creators. That no one is asserting anything in our lives. It's impossible. It works against the design of the universe. This is an attraction-based universe, period. Which means no matter what comes down your path, you gotta own it. You're attracting it. You may not have it on a conscious level, why you're attracting it, what part of you needs to be helped to understand what's going on, but there's nothing. It's like you can't be a little pregnant. You can't be creator just some of the time. You are creator always. Every waking moment you're creating. So we really want to be aware of where our energy is going, because our energy is our most precious commodity. And our energy is simply what we're thinking combined with what we're feeling, which is creating a vibration for the universe to respond to. So it's really all about recognizing there's no separation, that everyone is you, that everyone who comes down your path is a mirror and a teacher there to help you say, oh, hello, I forgot about that part of me. I gotta get better in touch with that. I need to own that more. I need to honor that more. Or whatever you get as a message. But they're all, every single thing, I don't care if it's your puppy dog, your parakeet, everything in your experience is you. Why would you hate any of it? It's like saying you hate you. Loving you, I think loving me, was the biggest challenge of incarnation. I think it's the biggest challenge for many who incarnate. Because our loving parents weren't taught to love themselves, they didn't know how to teach us to love ourselves. They thought it was going to give us a big head, or make us selfish, or. But the truth is, you can't love another to any degree that you don't love yourself. You can't respect another to any degree that you don't respect yourself. It's got to start here. It's got to. Looking in the mirror like Louise Hay taught us decades ago. Look into your eyes, your own eyes, and tell yourself every day, I love you. I love you so much. You are awesome. And at first it might not be true. But over time, give it time, you will say, I mean those words with all my being. And then you can love everybody else on the planet without any problems, because you know it's you coming down the path. It's you. They're all you. And if they're having a hard day, you have compassion. You don't have to get empathetic. Empathetic's a little dangerous, because we don't want to go into coherence with possibly their pain. But we can, of course, know they are in pain. And for that, you send love, 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 love. I have a great mentor. She's 91 now, living in a nursing home. She swore she never would. God bless. We never know. She taught me, bless it. Bless the hell out of it. Whenever something came up that was so hard for me to swallow, and I got it. I got it, of course. Of course you bless it. Because I'm blessing me. I'm blessing that part of me that's pushing against it. And that's the part that needs the love the most. You know, we'll never get out of here without this planet and this environment and time and space will always have contrast. It has to. It would help. It's the part of the equation that helps us get real clear on what we want. So if we were absolute utopia, things would stop evolving. We would stop expanding. And the eternal nature of the universe would come to a screeching halt. So that can't happen. So we have to be grateful for the contrast. Now that's a hard pill to swallow sometimes, huh? Yeah, yeah. And you know, there are people in our worlds, all of our worlds, that are difficult to love. But you know what? If you can stop and remember that they're just a mirror for you to realize there's parts of yourself you're rejecting, it gets a lot easier. I love President Trump. I love that man because I know there is no more shining example of what an ego gone nuts can look like. But I got an ego too, and my ego can get out of control and run me too. And that's just the way it is. And so I bless him every day, and I thank God every day that that man, you know, someone had to be there in non-physical going, I'll go be Trump. I'll go be Hitler. You know, it's, you gotta remember, inside everyone is that part, that perfect, divine essence that is untouchable. It's there. Now it can get covered with a lot of mud. It can get forgotten. And the people that are the most disconnected from who they are the ones that need our prayers and our love the most. They really do. Do you know what kind of pain they live in every day? My God, my world is fabulous. How about yours, right? We live in heaven. And the people around us typically are people that we adore and who are loving and kind and compassionate. And we have a lot of fun. Yes, we have a lot of fun. It's an interesting thing, expectation. We need to be expectant, because that means we believe that God has our highest and best unfolding, and it's coming. It's inevitable. The truth is, honest to goodness, what you desire in your heart of hearts is absolutely inevitable. It's a done deal. You just got to get out of the way. You got to stop pushing the resistance. And you know, the resistance comes up from our programming. You don't even have to know where it came from, who taught it to you. You have to know nothing about this resistance. You're going to be led around, over, under, and through if you follow your intuition, your gut instincts, your feelings that are good feelings. You follow those, and you will be guided to where you want to go, around all the resistance you have. It's absolutely true. So, don't worry. Don't worry about the resistance you have. We all have it. Just know that if you're following your heart, it's coming. It's down there, waiting, shiny, bright, done, complete, and awaiting your relaxing and allowing yourself to feel good long enough to get a hit, a phone call, a gentle nudge. We can't get those hits, those phone calls and gentle nudges when we're in anger, despair, depression, frustration, pessimism. We're like ships that pass in the night, because vibrationally, we're nowhere near where we need to be to get the guidance. You have to get a little higher up in your vibration to be anywhere near receptive territory. So let yourself, you're a human being, there's times you're going to get mad. Get mad. I lost my pug Friday, 11-and-a-half-year-old rescue. I love her to bits. She is spinning. Do you know pugs, they love to spin? And my baby, she spun when she was happy. She'd go in about 85 circles when she'd see us come home from work. I had to be sad. I had to grieve. I had to cry a lot. That's part of the human deal. You can't get away from your emotions. But don't do your best to not classify them as good or bad. They're all good, because they're your guidance. And when you feel one that doesn't feel so good, let yourself. It'll pass through you much faster that way than if you push it down and pretend it's not there, because it will come back to bite you sooner or later. So feel them, feel those feelings. But know, if you want to be in touch with your guidance, you got to get up here and be up here a lot more than you're down here. So, how do you do that? Start every day in meditation, every day. Don't skip one, even if it's just 2 minutes. Get some in, because first thing in the morning is my preference before I get on with my day and my brain takes off with me. When you're in meditation, you're resistance-free. You're a cork floating. You're receptive. And the more you do it, the more you get in the habit of doing it. And the more you get in the habit of doing it, the more you're going to be aware of it when you need it out in your day, later. Oh, right, I can choose peace. I don't have to react to this person with defensiveness. Right? It comes, it dawns on you. But you got to practice. So please, 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 please meditate every day. Don't let anything stop you from meditating. Second thing I want to share is please pre-pave. What I mean by pre-pave is if you've got some things going on in your day, take 5 minutes before you get on with your day to see it unfolding magically in ways that just delight you. And then get on with your day and watch it unfold in even better ways than you had imagined. It's amazing. Pivoting is another great tool. All of these I've learned from Abraham and Esther and Jerry Hicks. Pivoting is when you find yourself, you recognize suddenly you're going in a direction you don't want to go. Literally do a 180 in your mind and decide, well, if this isn't where I want to go, where is it I do want to go? And start focusing on that. So pivoting is another great tool. And I really like to talk to people about active imagination. Give yourself permission to be as the children. Be as the children. Let yourself daydream. Big. Let yourself have lots of wild imagination time. No holes barred. And when the but if only, oh no, what, come up, tell that part of yourself to put a sock in it. Put a sock in it, because it's just part of our beingness that wants to question, deny, doubt, worry, fear. And they're going to be with you always. You can't kind of purge yourself permanently of those pieces of yourself, but they don't have to run you. They don't have to run you. So feel everything you want in your future on a daily basis by imagining it first in your mind and then letting your emotions get in there and feel the excitement or the joy or the beauty or whatever emotions are brought up through that visualization. You do that, and whatever you've got out there that you've been wanting for a while, you're going to start to be guided right to it. I have no doubt. So we don't not want expectations, but we have to be very careful if they're attached to our belief systems. Just be aware. That's the key, isn't it? Stay awake. I know I'm preaching to the choir. You all are probably some of the most awake people on the planet, and thank God you are, because we need you now more than ever. Thank you so much.
Yeah.